Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ajalam here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you're new here, you're welcome. Kindly subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post a new video. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much. So for today's tutorial, I'll quickly share with you how to draft a crisscross or a scissors bodice pattern for a baby girl. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Paper, I am going to use a 6-year-old baby girl measurement to show you how to go about this. So I'll start by marking out the bodice length. So the bodice length I'm working with today is 12 inches. So I'm going to mark that out. So this is 12 inches here. So this is 12 inches. I'm going to mark that out and connect it to a straight line. Then the next thing to mark out is the armhole measurement. So for this, the armhole measurement is 6 inches. So I'm going to mark out 6 inches now from this shoulder line and then connect to the straight line as well. So after connecting now, I am going to mark out the shoulder measurement, which is also 12 inches. So I'll be inserting half of that, which is 6 inches. So this is 6 inches here, and I'll use the neck width of 3 inches. So here I have my 3 inches. So on this armhole line now, I am going to mark out the shoulder measurement. I am putting it here as well, which is 6 inches, and then I'll connect to a straight line. Okay, so now here, this is my ½ inch for the shoulder slope. So on that point now, I'm going to connect it to the neck width. So here, I have my 6 inches, so half of that, sorry, now is 5½ because we came down by ½ an inch for the shoulder slope. So I'll determine the midpoint now, which is 2¼ and then I'll go in. At that point now, I'll go in by ½ an inch, which is here, and then the next thing to do is to mark out the chest measurement is 26 inches, so 26 divided by 4 is going to give me 6½ hope I'm correct. Okay, so that is 6½ there, and then I'm going to add my 1 inch for sewing allowance, making it 7½. So for the waist is 25, so that will be 6¼ So I'll just mark that out, and I'll also add my 1 inch for my sewing allowance, and then I'll connect the points. So after connecting the points now, we're going to determine the crisscross pattern. From this, you need to draft your basic bodice for you to draft the crisscross or the scissors bodice pattern. So now this is what I have here. The next thing to do is to determine where you want your crisscross to pass through. That is for the neck part. Now here I am going to go up by, this is the armhole line, I'll go up by 2 inches. This is where I want, this is where I'll be using it. If you look at the neck area, you will see that it's a kind of V. So this is where I want the line to touch before marking it out to the other end. So but if the baby is on the slim side, you can just go up by 2.5. okay, but this is really optional. You can just check what will be good. So now after marking this out, now I'm going to connect this to this. This will just give me a guide so that by the time I'm connecting, I will know where to connect. So this is what I have. I'm going to cut this off now because I'll need to open this up and transfer these markings to this other part. So I'll just cut this off and then we continue. Cut it off. So I'm going to transfer all this to this other side so that you don't get confused. So I'm going to do all that quickly and then we continue. So here, as you can see, I just transferred what I have here to this part. Now why I didn't do this part is because this area is not really necessary. Okay, so now this is what I have. The next thing to do is to determine where you want the crisscross to end or start. So now from this waist area, I'm going to go up by 2.5. You can also decide to go up by 2 or even 3. This is for you to decide. So here I have my 2.5. So I'm going to take my curve now and connect it from the end of the shoulder point here. I am going to connect it now down to this point that I just marked. So like I was saying, I will take my curve and connect it. I decided to change my pen because the other one was cracking. So now I'm going to place this now. This is the center line and I'll just place it, making sure it will cross on that point. Okay, so I'll just connect it. Now you can see that it's very easy. Now this is the first thing. Now the next thing to do is to connect on this neckline part. Now we join it back to this armhole line. Okay, this part you can actually use your hand and do the tracing. Okay, you can also use your curve. Okay, so now this is what I have. Now you can see that this is just like a guide. This V is just like a guide for you to know how to curve it. Okay, so you're going to repeat the same on these other parts. Okay, so I'm going to just do that quickly and then the front pattern is almost ready. So here you can see that I just repeated the same thing I did now on these other parts. So now this front is ready. I'm going to cut it out now and then you can now place on your fabric and cut. So just for this down part, this part now, all you have to do is to add your sewing allowance all round and you're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off. Okay, if you can cut out one, you can actually use one and cut out the other one. You don't need to cut off. The 2-2 one is enough. Okay, so the next important part is this down area now. So this is the part that was saying that you need to add, when you want to cut on your fabric, you need to make sure to add your sewing allowance on this part. For the shoulder and the waist area, I've already added the sewing allowance. Okay, so now this is what I have. Now you can see that you need to cut out, like I said earlier, this, another one for the other side, because from your pattern now you can't cut it off because I just removed this part. So I'm going to take this now and cut the second one that will complete this part. Second one that I just cut out using this. So now I'm going to place it so that you see how it looks. Like I said earlier, when you want to cut out on your fabric, on each of these, make sure to add your sewing allowance. Okay, now this is what it looks. This is the front pattern, and now you can see that it's very easy and simple to draft or to even sew a crisscross or a scissors bodice pattern. So now I'm going to show you how to go about the back pattern. So for the back pattern here, I have, this is 12 inches. Remember, that is what we're working with as the bodice length, and here I just mark out my 1 inch for my zipper allowance. So I'm going to mark the shoulder width, which is 3 inches. So here is 3 inches, and the shoulder measurement is 6 inches, which is here. Okay, now for this back, there is nothing much for this back. All you have to do is to decide how low or high you would want the back to be. Remember, this is going to be an open back because the back will be having a strap. Okay, so now I'm going to mark out, this is the depth, the neck depth for my back. I'll be making it 6 inches, which is exactly on that armhole line. Okay, so let me just mark that out. Okay, remember, this is the armhole line. So all I'm going to do now is to bring this down. This is 3 inches. I'm going to take it down to this point, and then I connect. Okay, and then now you decide the size of the strap. You can make it 2 inches, you can make it 2.5, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So I'm going to make mine 2 1/4. Now you can see it's just 3/4 inch from the actual shoulder measurement. Okay, so I'm going to mark the same here. This is 2 1/4, and then I'm going to connect. Okay, now you can see that the shoulder measurement, now this part is not needed. So now the next thing to do is just to mark out your chest measurement and the waist measurement, and the back is ready. Then I'll add my 1 inch for sewing allowance. So this is 6 1/4, which is the waist measurement that we're working with. So this is 1 inch for the sewing allowance, and then connect. So it's as easy and simple as that. So now I'm going to cut it off so that you see the shape of the back pattern. Pattern looks like after cutting it. And now there's one thing you need to do here. Remember, you need to go up by 1/2 inch and cut it off. So here now on this part I used 2 1/4. That is to say that you need to make this other end 2 1/4, so that at the end of the day it will match when you'll be joining the two of them together. I hope you understand this part. So we need to reduce this now to 2 1/4 so that it's going to match when you're ready to join with the back pattern. So this is the front and this is the back. So this is how easy and simple it is to draft a scissors neckline or a scissors bodice pattern or a crisscross, whichever one you prefer to call it. And you can see that it's very easy and simple to do. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all soon.